we are encouraged to wear spirit wear or school colors. I'm gonna go to my car, get my new addition to my classroom that I can't wait to show you all. I will say, I had just a really good discussion with my class about kindness and about bullying and the effects that it has. I felt like I was really connecting to some of my kids. Good morning, YouTube. First of all, let's talk about how insanely dark it is outside because I am leaving at 6:50, which I don't even remember the last time I woke up at 6:50 to go to school. I am not a morning person whatsoever. So typically I don't leave until 7:30. However, it is observation day and I'm actually excited. I'm still nervous because I'm me and I get nervous for these things because I'm a classic overthinker. However, I'm prepared and I'm ready to rock it. You know what I mean? Let's quickly talk about my weekend. I can't say it was overly relaxing. I'll put it this way. I finished my grad school assessment last night at 9:15 and then had to eat dinner and then had to shower and then had to look over my lesson plans for today. So that kind of sums up my weekend, but I was productive. I got everything ready for my observation. I got a grad school assessment done. I got my oil changed, like check, check, check. I think I did pretty good. As I start to talk about my observation today, I'm gonna just share little tips because I had some people comment on my last video kind of asking for that. My first tip is to get there early, which I totally have a hard time doing because I'm not a morning person, but I feel better when I do wake up and have extra time in the morning. Plus, I'm gonna be able to get to school. My plan is to get everything completely set up and ready for my observation this morning before I have collaborative planning. And then that way when my students go to cultural arts, I can focus just on like rereading my lesson plan over and over and over again to make sure that I fully understand every part of it and know the flow of it. I'm gonna go ahead and head to school, and then once I get there, I will show you all what I am wearing. Now I'm going to talk about what I am wearing for my observation. Let me preface this by saying typically I'm a huge believer in look good, feel good. So I dress up for an observation. I still try to be comfortable, but I try to look very professional because it makes me feel better. However, today is actually a school spirit day and we are encouraged to wear spirit wear or school colors. So my outfit today is a little bit like out of the ordinary, and I guess the theme today is be comfy, feel good instead of look good, feel good, which still works for me. So very simple. I have one of my like school sweatshirts. It just says Crofton Pride. Underneath of this, I have another like school t-shirt in case I get hot, I can take it off. This is just my lanyard, which I wear all the time. It has my ID. And then this right here is actually my doorbell because I've gotten a lot of questions. So when I click it, I have a wireless doorbell in my classroom that actually goes off and I use it to get student attention. Then for my pants, these are actually white, kind of like stretchy jeans from Express, so they're very comfortable. And then I have a pair of Chucks on because those are my favorite shoes to wear. Now I will say that I do recommend wearing pockets. No matter what it is you're wearing, whether you're dressing up, whether you're comfortable, have something with pockets. Because personally, whenever I'm teaching, I feel like I always have like a million things that I'm trying to hold on to. I always have a pen because I'm taking observational notes. I always have my clicker that I use to go through my PowerPoint slides. I always have like a stamp to give my students their cup kudos, and it's a lot to manage. So if you have pockets, you can kind of help store it away when you're not using it, but then easily get it back out. My next tip is to be prepared, and I know that probably sounds like duh, I know I need to be prepared, but here's what personally that means for me. I like to have all of my papers laid out on my desk in separate piles so I can easily get to them when I need them. I also like to have all of my manipulatives ready. So I personally have little baskets that I keep for every group where I have all of their manipulatives, and then I am also putting in there some papers that they are going to reference. So when I am teaching a lesson, sometimes my students in the back can't always see what is on the board. So I actually printed out copies of the important parts. So this is our pose a problem, like the word problem that we're working on. And then this is our conceptual task. So this is the task that they will then do on their own. I actually printed out copies so each group can have this so the students can see it up close. And of course, as I'm saying, they're laying in bed last night not being able to fall asleep, I thought about it and I was like, oh, I printed out separate copies. If I printed it double-sided, then it's less paper and they could just flip it over. Well, I had already printed them out, so I actually just took and like taped them together around the edges, so it's one piece and they'll start with the yellow side and then I will tell them flip it over to the green side. Hopefully that makes it pretty easy. I also decided to go ahead and take their check for understanding standings, which is like their exit ticket, and put it inside of the basket. So it was one less thing that I had to hand out, and I could just say to students, hey, grab the paper that's inside the basket and get started on it. And being prepared for me also means having my slideshow ready to go. I use slideshows every single day in my classroom to just go through my lessons. It helps things just kind of flow easier for me. But especially when I have an observation, I really make sure that my slides have every like detail information that I want to be able to get out to my students. And I even try to include things like timers. Now I'm gonna go ahead and show you kind of up close what the slides actually look like. That way you can see my lesson from start to finish, because I know people are probably curious, like, okay, what are you actually doing for your lesson? So let me show you. So I created these in Google Slides. It's super simple. It's just a color background, a white rectangle with a black border, a black bar across the top for my title, and then this top font is Oswald, and then this font is Century Gothic. Both of those are available in Google Slides. So first I just have my essential question: how does place value help me multiply multi-digit numbers more efficiently? Then I have my I can statement, which I will have a student read. I can illustrate and explain how to multiply a 1-digit factor by a 2-digit factor using arrays and base 10 block. Then we will go into our number sense routine. We are doing a look quick, which my students are familiar with. So we're going to be looking at arrays. They're going to answer 2 questions. What do you see? How do you see it? And I will tell them they don't have to solve the problem. I'm more so focused on what they see in the array. Then I'm going to remind them that I'm going to show it to them 2 times. So the first time, they're going to just think in their head, there should be no talking. And then the second time they can discuss those 2 questions. What do you see? How do you see, as a group? So I'll show them this first one, and then I will say, think about what you saw in your head. There's no talking. I will show it to them again. And then I will pose those 2 questions. We'll discuss it. Then I will show them the next one, same thing. And we will do that a total of 3 times. Then I will tell them, now that we've practiced reading arrays and connecting them to multiplication, we will apply this strategy during our pose a problem, which we also do every day. It's like a word problem. And I will tell them to take out their dry erase board and marker. And I'm going to tell them, congratulations, you have been hired to be a zookeeper at the Zillion Zoo. They probably don't even remember applying, but that's okay. They've been hired. So with their pose a problem, as always, they can work with a partner. Says, as a zookeeper at Zillion Zoo, you will need to figure out how many pounds of fish are required each day to feed the animals. Use information in the chart to build an array representing how many pounds of fish the penguins will eat each day. So I will tell them, hey, is there information in this chart that we don't need? And they will say, yeah, the bottlenose dolphins and the gray seal. So I'll say, great, I'm going to cover that up so we don't get confused. They will have the copy of this in their basket so they can look at it up close. Then after they've had some time to work, we're going to review it. So I will pick out some students' boards to put under the document camera. I will remind them to compare their solutions with the ones that they are shown. I will ask them how they show that they agree. So we use like the me too sign and sign language. And then what should you do if you don't understand part of the strategy? Raise your hand, because my students love to call out. So just reminding them. Then I'm going to show them this slide and ask them what's the same and what's different about Mr. Patel's strategy and the Emperor Penguin array. So I will have them discuss this in groups. Then we will kind of review it. If they don't come up with a lot of similarities and differences, there's a video I can show them, but I'm only going to do that if they don't already come up with it on their own. Then I will show them this slide and we'll kind of talk about why is this strategy more efficient than a typical array. So I have a slide and I'm going to remind them efficient means it takes less time and less effort, so it's easier. And if they can't come up with anything, I'll put this up there. Think about when you're multiplying larger numbers. So we will discuss that. Then they are going to work on their own to determine how many pounds of fish are needed for the gray seals. And this is where these papers come in. So if I see students kind of struggling, I will give them this paper and it has a pink dot up in the corner. So I will have them go to the back table with Miss Bud to be able to work on this problem. If they breeze through it and they need an extension and some enrichment, I will give them this one, which has a blue dot up in the corner. So after they've had some time to work on this, I will put this timer up on the board, clean up your manipulatives, be at your seat, and be ready to review the problem. And I have this timer set to automatically start counting down. So as soon as I change the slide, this will start counting down. This is just a video file. I actually created these myself. They are part of my rotation boards on TPT if you've ever purchased those. Then we will actually review the problem. I'll probably put a student's board under the document camera to do that. Then their expression, this is like their exit ticket. So number 1, complete the check for understanding and turn it into the block bin. Number 2, take out your math notebook and open up to unit 4. Answer this prompt. Explain how decomposing numbers into tens and ones is an efficient strategy to multiply larger numbers. Provide an example. If we have time, we will actually review it, but something tells me we will probably have to push that to after lunch, but that's okay. And of course, as I'm sitting there going through it this morning, I thought of something that I could add. It's a lot of time for my students to be at their seat, which I usually try to avoid because no one likes to be at their seat that long. So in my head, I'm like, oh, instead of them just discussing things in their group, I can do stand up, hand up, which is basically where the students stand up. They put their hand up in the air. I will play music and then they will walk around the room. And when the music stops, they have to find someone else with their hand up and they high five. And then those two students will discuss. So already I'm thinking I'm going to add a slide or two to kind of explain that and have my students do that just to get them up and moving, but still giving them opportunities to discuss. So I'm going to go ahead and add those slides. I'm also going to go put some sticky notes in some of my students' lockers, just to kind of wish them a good, happy Monday. And then I will catch up with you the next chance that I can sit down and take a breath. One last thing that I did go ahead and do just to set myself up to help differentiate, I took the pre-assessments that I gave my students last week. I sorted them into like 3 piles. So kind of these students had no idea how to multiply a 1-digit by a 2-digit number. These students are on the right track, and then these students have already got it. And I took those, and my students who really struggled, I wrote their names on a pink sticky note. My students who already got it on the pre-assessment, I wrote their names on a blue sticky note and I stuck it on my clipboard that I use for clipboard cruising. That doesn't mean that every student who's written on the pink sticky note is going to get this paper, and it doesn't mean every student who's written on the blue sticky note is going to get this paper, but those are students that I can already anticipate may need a little bit more support or may need an extension, and then I will kind of take it from there, see how they're doing, and decide who's going to get what activity. But at least that kind of gives me an idea of which students I may need to be targeting for each of my different groups. And you will notice that kind of matches the color that is on the paper. So that's just one way that I kind of help to keep it organized. So long time no vlog. It is already 7 o'clock and my afternoon was just a little bit hectic and I just did not have a chance to vlog until now. So I thought I would catch you up. First of all, my observation, it went well. It wasn't like my best observation ever, but it was pretty good. You know what I mean? Like it was somewhere like on the higher end, but not, you know, my maximum potential. My students struggled a little bit more making the arrays with the base 10 blocks than I thought that they would. And so I kind of had to slow down the pace of the lesson compared to what I had thought I was going to do in the observation lesson plan, which is totally fine. But it just kind of changed the flow of the lesson a little bit. However, overall, it went pretty good. I also already have my evaluation because my administrator is amazing. She already got it to me. I'm actually going to meet with her tomorrow to discuss work samples and finish it up. So overall, really good. Happy to have it done, only because I just freak out in these kinds of situations. I'm very much an overthinker, so I'm happy to have it done with, and I'm happy to get feedback. Like honestly, I will feel much better tomorrow after I get to talk with my administrator. Like I want to know, what do I need to do better, because that's what it's all about. It's about improving as an educator to be able to give your students the best possible instruction. So I will be very happy to hear what she has to say tomorrow. And speaking of tomorrow, we have parent-teacher conferences. So our students are off school. We will be meeting with parents all day. I think I have like 15 conferences scheduled throughout the day. So I went ahead and just got stuff ready. I do keep a box in my closet with all of my conference stuff, which isn't a lot, but I have in there some file folders and I have a sign. I went ahead and put that sign on the door with a magnet. That way I don't forget about it tomorrow. And I just move the sign on and off the door when I'm meeting with parents so they know whether or not they can come in the classroom. And I also stuffed the file folders with my conference report forms, and I'll show you those in a second, but those are part of my pack on TPT, and I fill them out for each student, and then I put them in a file folder labeled with the time of the conference. And because we have the conferences at the same time every year, I can reuse the folders rather than labeling them with a specific student's name. And I really, really like that system. That way I have them in a stack in order, and I can very easily see like when my next conference is, and it just helps to keep any other papers besides the conference report. So maybe work samples or anything like that. It helps to keep it all organized in one place. So I will quickly show you the conference report forms that I use, and then I'm going to go ahead and get out of here because I am very tired and I'm very much just looking forward to having a relaxing night. So this is a blank copy of the parent-teacher conference report form that I use. Like I said, this is part of my conference pack on TPT. So it includes this, it includes the sign that I showed you that I put on my door, reminders, all that good stuff. But what I really like about this is, for me, like it has the perfect amount of information, so it's not too much and it's pretty easy to fill fill out. I filled out 15 forms in about 30 to 35 minutes. Like, it was that easy. So they just put down, and when I say they, I mean me. I don't know why I said they, but the student name, the attendees of the conference, date and time, pretty simple. And then I like to list out strengths and weaknesses and then set a goal for the student. I know some people don't like the term weaknesses. They prefer to say like glows and grows or something else. Personally, I think it's okay to admit that we have weaknesses. Like, everyone has weaknesses. That's not a bad thing. It's about taking those weaknesses and moving forward and using them to improve. So personally, the word weaknesses doesn't bother me, but I know some people have pointed that out, and that's where I stand on it. Here I put their grades, which actually this form is from last year. I no longer teach social studies, so I technically don't need that on there, but that's okay. I'm just leaving it. So I just quickly jot down their grades, and then I can put any notes. I also can check off their work habits and their behavior, and again, I can put notes. If the parents have any questions, I can write them there, and then if we come up with a plan for implementation, like something we're going to put in place for the child, I put it there, and then I sign it, the parent or parents sign it, and then I typically make a copy of this and send it home with students the following week, although I'm thinking tomorrow's conferences, I'll actually be able to send it home with students on Wednesday. So I will link this in the description box. It is editable, not all parts of it, like certain parts you can't edit, but these parts you can edit. So if you are interested, you can grab it with the link down below. Good morning, YouTube. Today is parent-teacher conference day. I need to get to school and print a few things out because our internet was down last night. I don't know what was going on. It was very frustrating, and it's still down this morning, and my printer is connected through the Wi-Fi, so I couldn't print, and I was gonna print copies at home, and it just didn't happen. So I need to get that done this morning. I'm basically just printing out our current unit for math, like the parent letter that kind of goes through some of the strategies, so I can hand that out. And then I'm also gonna hand out a page that kind of goes through like ways to support your student at home for science. And I think I'm gonna go get coffee. And I know it's not a Friday, but it's parent-teacher conference day, so I feel like I kind of deserve coffee. I don't know, my logic is a little bit messed up. However, I'm gonna go do that. I'm gonna get a hot coffee because it's kind of cold out today, and then I will catch up with you all when I get to school. Good morning, can I get a medium hot vanilla latte, please? So here's my final setup for conferences, pretty basic. Over here, I have some handouts for ways to support your student at home in science, and then our current newsletter for math. I have 2 chairs available, but I can grab more if needed. I have a little notepad with pens in case they need it, and then those are my conference folders over there, and then of course, my coffee. And quite possibly the best part of conferences, our PTA always provides snacks, which is such a blessing. So I went up and grabbed some stuff, although I don't really have time to eat it because I have another conference, but maybe in the afternoon when I actually have some openings, I will enjoy these. It is now 5:15. All of my conferences are done and I feel really good about them. Like, they all went really, really well. I will say I had a migraine from like 10 o'clock until not too long ago, probably until about 4:30, but thankfully it has gone away because I was starting to get worried that I wasn't going to be able to be productive tonight because of it. However, I am now doing better and I'm just in a really good mood, you know? I feel really good. Ultimately, today, I loved getting to meet families that I hadn't met yet, and I love when I'm able to share good things about what the child is doing. I think that that's so important during conferences, focusing on the positives, and then yes, give them areas that the child needs to grow in and set goals and all that, but ultimately, I just love to be able to tell them how much I love being able to teach your child. So, I am about to go to my car because I have something new that I am setting up in my classroom that I'm very excited about, and I think you all will be very excited about it too. And I've just been doing a little bit of kind of cleaning and organizing. This area down here, I put my calm down basket, which is that white basket right there. I before had just a big pile of stuff that I had not put away. So I finally put it away, put my calm down kit there, and so far I am liking it. So I'm gonna go to my car, get my new addition to my classroom that I can't wait to show you all, and then I will check back in with you. So here is my new classroom stage that I'm literally so excited about. I have seen these on Instagram and Pinterest for a while, and I loved the concept of having this platform not only for me to stand on when I'm teaching, but also for my students to stand on. If they're giving a presentation, if they're explaining something, I just love the concept. Now, most people have them made either by a significant other, a family member, whatever. Unfortunately, Billy is not very handy, so I knew that that was not going to happen, but I really wanted one. And I actually had a company on Etsy, it's Classy Stages. They reached out to me and offered to send me one, and I was just floored because first of all, it's highly generous, and second of all, like, I didn't even know that this existed, that there were people out there who would make them and ship them to you, and I thought that that was perfect for teachers like me who maybe don't have someone to make it for you. So I love that you're able to customize it. So this is the large stage. They also have small stages, so depending on the size that you have available in your room, you can pick either large or small. You also get to pick a quote to go on it. There are pre-made quotes, or you can enter your own. So I actually picked this quote, "Be the sunshine." It was one that I kind of had custom made, but that's something that I say to my students all the time. So I thought that it was perfect. I absolutely love this thing because this actually opens up and you can store stuff on the inside, which is perfect. I'm not positive exactly what I'm gonna put in there yet, but I'm thinking I have a lot of extra textbooks that I keep on a shelf, and I may put those in there since I'm not really using them, and then it'll give it something nice and heavy to kind of hold it down. But I just wanted to share this with you all. Like I said, I will link it in the description box. I, so far, am loving it. I cannot wait to show my students tomorrow. I think that they're gonna love it. And if you are like me and you've wanted one for a while but didn't have someone to make it, you can grab one on Etsy. It's a little bit expensive, but Christmas and holidays are coming up. It's definitely something that you could maybe ask for from family members and kind of have them go in together to get it for you if that's something that you're interested in. So thank you so much to Classy Stages for reaching out to me and offering to send this to me. I'm highly, highly appreciative of it, and I seriously love it. And the reason I'm sharing it with all of you on YouTube is because I love it so much. They're not paying me or anything. They did send me the stage for free, but I'm sharing about it because I love it so much. I also wanted to show you this. This is my letterboard from Target. Originally, it said, "Welcome to 4th grade," and I've had that since the beginning of the year. Today, I changed it to say, "Welcome to conferences," and I had it out in the hall. So as I brought it back in, I knew that I needed to change it up a little bit, so I chose to go with, "I give you an education, you give me your Reese's," since Halloween is coming up. So it is now 6 o'clock and I'm ready to get out of here. I still need to do some lesson planning tonight. Whoops. But I feel productive, like, in my room. I feel like I've gotten stuff done. Today's been a good day. You know, I've enjoyed the conferences. I am tired. I don't know what it is about conferences, but I am always exhausted. I also had my post-conference with my admin and that went really well. So overall, I'm in a good mood. Glad my headache is gone. Loving my new stage. Loving my new quote on the letterboard. And I'm excited to have my students back tomorrow. Good morning, YouTube. Today is Wednesday. It is also Unity Day. Unity Day is a national, like, day dedicated to preventing bullying and promoting kindness and all that. So our entire county has really been pushing for us to celebrate it this year, and we are all encouraged to wear orange. So I actually ordered this shirt off of Amazon. It says, "A little kindness can change everything." And we're gonna stay in homeroom classes this morning. We're gonna do a couple of different, like, kindness and unity activities. I will try to show you those if I can get a chance because it's been a very hectic morning. I woke up this morning and all of a sudden I realized I was supposed to go to a PD today, which I got permission not to go because we are really short on substitutes right now, and I had no substitute, which meant they were gonna pull TAs and other things, and I just didn't want that to happen. So I forgot to cancel the sub job and someone picked it up this morning. So I was trying to go on and cancel it and it wouldn't let me cancel it, and I had to call my team teacher for help, and she ended up calling the office and they got it canceled. So it all worked out, but it was just a stressful start to the morning. So I'm gonna go ahead and head to school, try to relax a little bit, and then I will catch up with you all later on. All right, let's talk about Unity Day and the activities we did this morning. First of all, our school purchased these big circle orange stickers for all of our students. That way, if they weren't wearing orange, they would still have orange that they could put on. And our students had to write a Unity Day slogan on their sticker before putting it on this morning. Then, when they came back from cultural arts, we have a tree that's painted up by our media center. So each student got a leaf, and it just looked like this. It was just a construction paper orange leaf that they decorated with some kind of a kind message, and then they hung them on the tree, and we even had some kind of down on the ground to make it look like they were falling from the tree. Then we did the wrinkled heart activity, which I'm sure you've probably heard of this. It's a pretty common activity. Each student got a die cut heart, and this is just construction paper. We took turns sharing things that are hurtful or things maybe that we've been told before that are hurtful, and every time we said something, we folded part of the heart. So we kept going until it was all, you know, folded up a bunch of different ways. Then we did the opposite. We shared kind things, and we would unfold one part of the heart, and we kept going until they were completely unfolded. But then we talked about how even though we said nice things to get it unfolded, there are still all of these wrinkles that are left behind, and that's just like our words. Once we say them, the effect never really fully goes away. You may say something kind to someone, but there is still a wrinkle left behind. There is still some hurt left behind when you say things that are unkind. So they each got to keep their heart. They put it in their agenda book or folder just kind of as a reminder. Then we did a read aloud. We read aloud this book. It's One by Catherine Atashi. This is a picture book. We did not have the book, so I actually got a read aloud off of YouTube. I'm not going to pull it up right now, but if you just search it on YouTube, you can find tons of read alouds. I also will link the actual book off of Amazon in the description because I'm going to go ahead and order one for myself. So we read this book, and basically the color red is being a big bully, and it's bullying the other colors and telling them that they're not as cool, and red is hot and blue is not, and all this. Well, finally the number one comes along, and the number one stands up to red, and then the other colors also stand up, and so they each become a different one. Like yellow becomes 3 and green becomes 4 and all that. So they kind of stand up against bullying together. So we had a discussion about it, and then they each got a template of the number 1, so it looked like this, and they had to complete the sentence, I can be the difference by, or I can be the difference this year by. So that's kind of our slogan for our school as a whole, like not only our staff, but also our students. So they got to fill it out on their 1. So this one, I can be the difference by choosing kindness, and I really like this one, I can be the difference this year by playing with someone who feels lonely. So they each decorated one of these, they traced it in Sharpie, and then they got to color it in however they wanted, and we're going to hang these up somewhere out in the hallway. We haven't decided exactly what. We're either going to use these and make a giant number 1 or use it to spell out the word 1. We don't know exactly what yet, but that is coming. And then by the time we finish that, it was basically time to go to lunch. I will say I had just a really good discussion with my class about kindness and about bullying and the effects that it has, and we just got into this really deep conversation, and we kind of went off on like a little tangent, and it's totally fine because I felt like I was really connecting to some of my kids. I know some of them were not fully paying attention to what I had to say, but that's okay. I think I got through to some of them, and you know, that's what I love about being a teacher. It's not just the academics, it's not just math and reading and writing and social studies and science. It's also the things that I get to teach them about life and about being a good person, and that always makes me feel good. Now in the afternoon, we only had our blocks for an hour, so I did not teach science, I just taught math, and even then math was kind of very crammed because typically I have about an hour and 15 minutes for math. So I didn't get through quite everything. I have a check for understanding sitting here that we did not get to, but it's okay. My team teacher and I met this morning to kind of map out the rest of the marking period, and we should have plenty of time. So that is a good thing, and it makes me feel good. I'm going to continue to work with my students on multiplication kind of for the rest of the week. But for now, I need to get out of here because I have to go to the gym. I already went to Hero Boys. That ended at like 5:15. It's now 5:45, and I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, go to the gym, go home, plan for tomorrow, all that good stuff. Good morning, YouTube. I will be completely honest and say I am very tired for it only being Thursday, but it's been a crazy week. In hindsight, looking back, Monday I was observed, Tuesday was parent-teacher conferences and a full moon. Wednesday was just kind of a different day because of Unity Day and our schedule was off. Our schedule is off again today because our students are taking RSA, which is the reading skills assessment, in homerooms this morning, and then we'll have hour blocks again in the afternoon. And you know, it's just been a very busy week, but it's been a good week, so I'm gonna focus on that instead of focusing on how tired I am. I am gonna go ahead and head to school, and I did volunteer to read to a kindergarten class this morning because they did not have enough volunteers, and I'm trying to be a good person, so I'm gonna go do that. I need to find a book because I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to supply the book, but I will catch up with you at some point today. we got second place for Reading Olympics again, which is exciting because I'm thankful to have these 3 books for my library, but at the same time, it's frustrating because I keep trying to motivate my students to get them to bring in their cards, and then we keep just barely getting beat by like 1 card. So hopefully next week we can actually bring home first place. Okay, hear me out on this. So this thing happened yesterday. I don't know where my brain was because it was not in my head. I just forgot to like vlog yesterday, like lunchtime, after school, all of it. And I don't ever do that. Like, I don't know what was wrong with me, but I completely left school, forgot to vlog, forgot my camera at school. So hi, it's now Friday. I apologize. I promise to be a better vlogger, but I had told you all that it's just been a very busy week, and for whatever reason my brain, like, I just completely forgot. But last night I had Girls on the Run after school, and then I was prepping some stuff for science because we are going to be taking our quarter 1 assessment on November 5th. So I was creating a study guide that they can glue in their notebooks, just kind of an overview of like the notes for the marking period, and then I also created a like review sheet that they're going to do for homework, and then a practice assessment that we're going to do in class. So I was a little bit busy yesterday afternoon, which I guess is why I forgot to vlog, but today we are going to have Chromebooks in math, and I'm going to have them do a Google Classroom assignment, so I'm going to show you that real quick. So we are working on multiplication in math, and we are up to 1 digit by 4 digit, and the strategy that most of my students end up using is the area model, and I really like it because it just makes a lot of sense, and for a lot of kids it really clicks with them. So this slideshow is from iHeart 4th grade on Teachers Pay Teachers. I will link it for you in the description box. She has a ton of like Google resources, and I absolutely love them. So this slideshow has 24 slides. I don't expect my students to get through all 24. I'm only going to grade the first 10 slides, and then any that they complete beyond that is just additional practice. But if you don't know about the area model, essentially you expand out the number by place value, and then you multiply the side times the top. So this one would be 6 times 3,000, 6 times 700, 6 times 20, 6 times 8, and then they add those partial products together to get the final answer. So with this, students just double click here, they will type it in, they will repeat that for all of these rectangles, and then they will type the answer in up here. So when they add them together, they'll just show that work on like a dry erase board or a piece of paper. Not too worried about it, but I love when I get to have Chromebooks on Fridays because it just makes for a nice kind of calm end to the week, which I really enjoy. I totally forgot that I am actually out on Monday for professional development. I am my school's e-coach, and we actually have a mandatory PD that all e-coaches have to go to on Monday. So I spent my Friday afternoon writing sub-plans, which kind of stinks, but good news is they are all laid out and all ready to go, which means I don't have to come to school on Monday before the PD. I can just go straight to the PD. I know I've shown this in quite a few of my vlogs, but just in case any of you are new here, this is kind of how I leave my desk for the sub. So right here are my actual sub plans. This is a template in my TPT store if you are interested. And I also left a copy of the PowerPoint. So I leave the PowerPoint in a folder that our substitutes are able to access, and that kind of leads them through the day, but I print out a copy just in case for some reason they can't access them. They can use this and just put it under the document camera. Then I have my substitute binder. I do have a sub binder that is editable in my store. I will link that for you in the description. It looks slightly different than this, but the layout is pretty much the same. I always leave a treat for my substitutes, so I left them 2 Ghirardelli chocolates, and then I have my block 1 papers for math, and I always label them with a pink binder clip, and I put that in the sub plans as well and tell them that block 1 is the pink binder clip. Then I have my block 2, which they actually will be playing a game, and again, blue binder clip, and I label that in the sub plans. Materials that they will need are out. They just need dice and counters, which is super simple. And then this is a review packet because we have a math assessment coming up. So these have to get passed out to both blocks, but it's written in the sub plans as well. And then I have my agenda out. That way they can just put this under the document camera and my students can copy it down. So this is all all ready to go. I'm leaving kind of late on a Friday, but at least now it is done and I don't have to worry about it over the weekend. So this super hectic, crazy, busy week is finally over and I can go home and relax. It is 7:20 and I cannot get out of here a minute too soon because I'm just ready for a weekend. Now, I still have to work on grad school assignments, so it's not like a super relaxing weekend, but that's okay. I think Billy and I've got to go meet him at the gym, and then we're gonna go home, eat dinner, shower, all that good stuff, and then we're gonna watch like a Halloween movie and just relax. And I'm looking forward to it because I deserve it, because I have been working hard all week. And if you are a teacher and you are watching this, make sure you are doing things for yourself because you deserve it. And no good teacher is burnt out. You have to make sure you take time for yourself, make yourself a priority, because when you re-energize and refill your own cup, then you can fill the cups of others, such as your students. And hopefully you listen to that, because I know sometimes it's hard when you're thinking about all the things you have to do. You think you don't have time for yourself, but you do. You just have to make it a priority. If you enjoyed this week's vlog, please, please, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Also, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and the notification bell so that you are notified every time I post a new video. As always, thank you for watching. I love you all so, so much. Don't forget to think positive, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.
Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of this video and for supporting my YouTube channel. If you want to check out any of my older videos, you can use the 2 links right down here. If you want to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any future videos, you can use the link right up here. The links to all of my social media sites, my Teachers Pay Teacher store, my merchandise store, and my Amazon store are in the description box, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.